This is Jaylen Brown. He's a very good basketball player. In fact, he's one of the brightest young superstars playing on the best team in the NBA. The guy he's taunting? That would be Steph Curry, the same man who killed his championship dreams just a year and a half ago. Curry dismantled the Celtics by tapping into a zone that very few players have ever reached. And on December 19th, 2023, Jaylen Brown felt like he was in that zone. 22 points through 2.5 quarters, and his Celtics hold an 11-point lead. He's killing. They have to get him the ball. They clear out the right side. Jaylen has Curry on him. Brown bullies him down to the block. It's a huge size mismatch. No one on Golden State comes to help. Brown attacks and finishes over Steph for the and one. Nobody can stop him. Boston is on the verge of running away with the game. The Warriors are washed, man. Wrap it up. Wait, is that the infamous too small celebration? Yes, Jaylen, Curry is small. We know this already. But in this very moment, what Jaylen Brown didn't know is that the zone that he's in isn't actually the zone. It's just a taste of it. And this guy right here, he's about to show him what that zone really looks like.
Paul gathers it in. Clock at 3. Curry 3.
From the moment Steph was handed the Finals MVP on the Celtics' home court, he's seemingly held some real estate in the city of Boston, and even some of its players. Derek White has referred to the task of guarding Curry as constant paranoia, and considering the shots that Steph has made against the Celtics since the Finals, it's safe to say that he's left Celtics players paranoid at his presence on the court. And headed into their third matchup since the NBA Finals, a Boston win is heavily favored over the struggling Warriors. By halftime, the Celtics held just a 3-point lead, and the fact that Curry already picked up 3 fouls and the game was still within reach was playing into that paranoia factor. When is he gonna go off? On the other side, Jaylen Brown was starting to cook. 15 points in the half, and it continued in the third quarter. JB finishes a tough shot off glass around Steph. On the fast break, he finds a cutting Derek White. A couple possessions later, he gets the shot plus the foul over Curry. He's feeling himself. Steph picks up his 4th foul with 20 minutes left in the game. Instead of putting him on the bench, the Warriors opt to keep him in. A decision that'll come back to haunt them later. A couple minutes later, Brown gets an ISO on the right side. The player guarding him, the man with 4 fouls. Jaylen gets him down on the block. Does anyone on the Warriors help Steph? No. Jaylen gets the contact and knocks down his 2nd and 1 of the quarter, and his 24th point of the game. The Warriors challenge the call, but it stands. Boston goes up by 13 points. JB is in the zone. He's feeling good about his game. So good that he decides to taunt Steph with the very original too small sign. I've never seen that celebration before. Steph has to spend the rest of the quarter on the bench with his 5th foul, giving him time to think about the disrespect that Brown just shot his way. He comes back in the 4th quarter re-energized. He comes off a pin down and knocks down the 3. He goes coast to coast and finishes a tough left-handed layup over Tatum. He's heating up. Curry draws the offensive foul on Brown. The very next possession, Steph pulls up from 30 to cut the lead down to 1. He's on fire. There's a minute and a half left. He gets the ISO on 59-year-old Al Horford. We all know what happens.
Curry step back triple.
Tie game. Fast forward to the end of overtime, 30 seconds left. Warriors have a 2-point lead. Steph drives in on Mr. Too Small Jaylen Brown. He gets the bucket. Boston calls timeout. Curry is hyped. He subtly points at Brown and says to himself, "But I'm too small?" You are a sick man, Stephen Curry. Chris Paul comes up to him. Finish this MFer. That MFer would be Jaylen Brown, of course. Out of the timeout, Horford nails a 3. It's a 1-point game. If the Warriors get a 2, Boston can come back down and tie it with a 3. But if Golden State can get a good look from deep, it'd be a 2-possession game. This is huge.
Paul gathers it in. Clock at 3. Curry 3.
What did you expect? A skyscraping 3 over the man who has been paranoid about this exact moment. Steph pulls out his patented night-night celebration, the same one he used in that one game in June of 2022. Steph knocks down 2 free throws. Game over. In this brief moment, Brown and the Celtics had contained Steph Curry. Taunt him, put him on the bench. This isn't 2022 anymore. In the 23-minute, 7-second span from the 2 small taunt to the end of the overtime, a 5-foul Steph Curry scored 20 points, pulled down 2 boards, and dished out 4 assists. He took over. Jaylen Brown, however, he did not take over. He scored just 4 points, shooting 1 for 6 with a couple turnovers. This stands as another reminder that under any circumstance, you do not trash talk an all-time great. Even if that all-time great has 5 fouls at the beginning of the 3rd quarter, don't take the bait. Steph Curry still owns the Boston Celtics. But more importantly, he's been owning Jaylen Brown for nearly half a decade now. To understand the history of this subtle rivalry, we have to go back to 2017. More specifically, March 8th, 2017. The Boston Celtics face off against the Golden State Warriors on national television. The headliner? Stephen Curry versus Isaiah Thomas. But they weren't the ones making headlines on social media that night. Well, Steph Curry was, alongside a rookie Jaylen Brown. See, 9 months prior to this matchup, Jaylen was courtside watching the Warriors warm up for the 2016 NBA Finals. Yes, that NBA Final. Taking in the greatness of guys like Steph Curry and Andre Iguodala, players that he's looked up to. He says he wants to be here one day, that he will be here one day. Well, Jaylen, your time has come. 61 games into his NBA career and he's here. Time is winding down at the end of the 3rd quarter, and Jaylen is given the task to guard the reigning 2-time MVP one-on-one. These are the moments he dreamed of. Steph gets into his dribble package. Brown is right there with him. Curry twitches to the left and pump fakes. Jaylen flies by like a blind pigeon looking for a french fry. Steph lasers the 3. It's a difficult spot to be in for a rookie. I mean, he did his best. Steph Curry does not care that he tried his best. He goes in on the kid, talking trash, pointing at him, and motioning with his hand to stop the talking. In that moment, no one really knows what triggered Steph to go in on the rookie. Brown doesn't even acknowledge the trash talk towards him. In a post-game interview, Jaylen mentions that he never said anything to Steph. He hit a good shot. The pointing was cute. He assumes that it was because of his defense. He doesn't know he didn't say anything. But it wasn't in regard to anything Brown had said that night. It was about something that happened 4 months ago. And if you know Steph, you know he loves to be petty. On November 18th of that same season, Golden State and Boston faced off for their first matchup of the year. The Warriors had just a 7-point lead at halftime. And then they turned it on. Clay laces a jumper in the paint, Steph lobs it up to the sky and KD throws it down. 3-on-2 fast break? Why not pull up from 3? The whole team's on fire. They're on a 23-4 run. Even Zaza Pachulia wants to get involved. Nice shot, Zaza. Zaza just knocked down 2 of his 4 points on the night, and what better way to celebrate than doing whatever that is. Pause it right there. You see that guy behind Zaza on the bench? That's our boy Jaylen Brown. And by the smug look on his face, I don't think he's enjoying the Warriors' showboating. That was disrespectful. We'll see them again. A short quote that stated the truth. Showboating can cross the line when you're on a team with 4 future Hall of Famers all in their prime. That was it. And it became personal for Steph. When they saw each other again 4 months later, Curry let him know that he heard the talk and wanted JB to back it up. The Warriors would go on to lose that game. And when they matched up the next season, Brown scored 22 points to Curry's 9 in a Celtics win. So in their very next game against each other, Steph dropped 49 points, 13 of them coming in the final minute and a half. Petty. Steph is an all-time great who can flip the switch in a moment's notice, whereas other players don't even know that there is a switch. Jaylen Brown has been on the bad side of a lot of Warriors' success throughout his short career, suffering his hardest losses to the man who seems to find some extra motivation whenever they face off. And at a moment in time when he and the Celtics are taking the next step as a team and the Warriors have taken a few steps back from their glory days, Jaylen felt the need to express his feelings to Curry in the most unique way possible. But unlike the Warriors, Steph hasn't fallen off just yet.